You are here in Botswana with a reality that is poverty knocking at your door. You got no time to be wasting on trivial things, mundane things, things that don't matter. I have no idea how Botswana are making children. We literally have kids raising kids. So a lot of our children are damaged. But at the end of the day, here's another thing. You cannot be the person who's always going to say, no, na mama do the papa do then give us a sob story. At some point, we stop caring about that. We're like, you're 25 years old. You cannot be the man or the woman who sleeps with multiple partners and be a person o bua eng wena o sa kgone go itebella sente wena gore motho ga o tsompelo o nthuta eng wena o ruta bana eng.
So ladies and gentlemen, help me and welcome to the show today, Miss Agatha Atlholang. How are you doing?
What an intro.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Deep Dive Sessions. My name is Agatha. Thank you for stopping by. We have another banger for you today. But before we get started, kindly give this video a like. I'm just going to give you 2 seconds to do that. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. It means a lot to us and it does a lot for us. But ladies and gentlemen, today we have a special guest. Buckle up, get ready to transform your life with the fierce personal development coach, Agatha Atlholang, aka Boss Lady, who will help us and show us and empower us how to become our best selves. Let's deep dive. I was telling you just the side, I've manifested this moment. I've thought about it so many times.
Yeah.
I have played it so many times in my head.
Yeah.
And it's here today. So I'm extremely stoked. I'm extremely excited.
Yeah.
Today we're talking about how to be yourself. You know, a lot of times you talk about how to discover yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, I think there is truth to discovering yourself and then being yourself.
Yeah.
Which is something that is extremely important because it affects every facet of our lives. So I want us to really start here. Where did self-discovery start for you?
I think for me, it started really the journey really going into it was when I was 36, when I had I was depressed. I was diagnosed with depression. I went to India, found that out.
Clinical.
Pardon?
Was it clinical?
It was clinical depression. And then after that, diagnosed in India by a doctor called Dr. Shah. And then came back and started really asking myself the hard questions about who I am, what is it that I want, where am I going? What is this? You know?
Yeah.
So that's where it really started at 36 years old. I'm turning 43 in December now. So I've been on this journey and I always feel like, you know, I do have something to share because I've been actively on this journey and it's an amazing journey. It's a painful journey, but I'll do it all over again, man.
Extremely rewarding.
It's rewarding. It's rewarding. So that's where it really started for me. And through that, I also found a bit of my calling, I think. I think I'm in my purpose, which is life coaching, helping other people to become the amazing humans that I am.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So you started this at 36. So you hit that
36.
moment.
Yeah.
And it's something actually we talked about the side where we were talking about, you know, a lot of the times, if we don't change, life will force us to change.
Absolutely.
So you came to that point where, you know, your body was now telling you that, you know, something is just wrong.
Yeah.
There's no alignment here with what you're doing. Talk to me about before.
Yeah.
Who were you in your 20s? And how were you navigating life then?
I was very lucky to have grown up, first of all, in a 2-parent home. I had my dad and my mom. Both have passed away. My mother passed away when I was 21 years old. My father passes away when I was 41. So difference, I think is 20 years, if my math serves me correctly. So growing up in our household, we were taught to be children by Longkore Rabua. I share the story all the time. We always used to have dinner on the dinner table. At my house, you sit at the dinner table. You don't eat in your room. We don't do those things.
Yeah.
Because that is a time for you to be able to talk with one another. So experiencing that, I had some form of consciousness. My mom ke mokalaka, my father ke mongwakitsi. And growing up with a Kalanga mom, she will smack you into submission. You will understand what life is.
Yeah.
So I come from that background. So in as much as Nenka misbehavior, I always had it in the back of my mind that why are you doing this? Do you think this is the right thing to do? So it stems from that. Now, if you're growing up in an environment where nobody cares what you're doing, people are not present, parents are not present, it becomes very difficult for you to navigate life. So, that support. Yes, I've made my mistakes. I can't say that I was perfect, but I was able to dig into those pearls of wisdom that came from my parents when it was time to find myself. I don't know if this makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
So it's very important how we grow up, where we are growing up, and what happens there. Because in a secure home, we manage a botoka. It's not that haka ke anwa bujalo. It's not that haka ke a tsenya basadi ba gagwe aba stressa out. But there's a level of go ikgalemela. And this is the responsibility that parents have to their children. You cannot be that parent who's not available for your kids and think you're going to have this straight A student child. Everything starts from home, and as parents and as adults, we have to be very sensitive to this. So I grew up in a home where my parents were very much available, and we, in as much as we made our mistakes and everything, we were allowed to grow. We were allowed to spread our wings. My parents were very supportive. I was that kid. That's why sometimes I always say, my journey and me going viral and people saying a lot of things, I realized that I'm one of the lucky ones who actually came from a very good home. Not everybody had that, because a lot of people can't relate sometimes with what I'm saying. They're like, where are you from? So I like the fact that I can share my story and teach people that but we need to be cognizant of the fact that we're all coming from different backgrounds. Your reality is not my reality. My reality is not yours. But we can learn from each other's realities.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And you said something very, very important that, it stuck with me right now.
Yeah.
Because it resonates with something I think I was watching a YouTube video.
Yeah.
And this gentleman, he's a parent actually, and he's a big businessman. 9 figures and whatever. And he was saying that the role of parent is not to be perfect, but be present.
Yeah.
And in our society today, we're facing a situation where, like you mentioned, there's many kids that are growing fatherless, sometimes motherless.
Yes.
And sometimes it's horrible, they're just not present in their lives or not engaged as they are.
And sometimes you do have two parents, but because they're trying so hard to provide for the kids, provide for things that they never had, parenting suffers. So there's also that, but continue.
Yeah, there's actually that. There's a lot to it actually, because then you're trying to strive so that you provide. Then presence is going to suffer. But if you're always present, then provision
is going to
won't be there.
So you got to strike a balance.
Yeah. So talk to me about, okay, how do we then grapple with the situation we're facing right now? Because you're saying that everything starts and stems from the home. And the home is where everything is built.
Yes.
So if you have a broken society, it's because we have broken homes.
100%.
Where do we start?
The thing is, and this is a conversation that we need to start having as Botswana. I have no idea how Botswana are making children. We literally have kids raising kids. And I don't just mean that in terms of chronological age. You can be 50 and still not know how to parent. Because outcome the most important, the one thing that we have lost as a society is knowing who we are. I've always said this: if you understand who you are, you're going to become a better wife, you'll be a better husband, you'll be a better parent. Consciousness and self-awareness, those are the tools that help you to impart dituto le dilo tse ngwana a tshwanetse gore a di tlhaloganye ditsompelo tse e leng gore ngwana wa a di tlhoka mo botshelong gore e kgone go nna motho a se ka nna morwalo mo tšhabeng. So you're 23 years old. What do you know about life when? What makes you think you can have a child at 23? You don't even know how to provide for yourself.
Yeah.
So what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with morale. Please, let's put that aside. It has everything to do with reality and being realistic. First and foremost, you don't even know who you are. Who are you? You are telling me, hey, I'm this, I'm that. I'm like, I didn't say, what are you? Who are you? You can't even answer that. So how are you going to teach a child what a How does that make sense?
Yeah.
At 23 years old, dude, I was figuring myself at 36.
Yeah.
You know? And it's things like that. We're not making time for our children to impart knowledge into them. This, that, because the issue with this thing is that in order to be a good parent, you've got to be able to look at your life. At 23 years old, for you, for consciousness, you've got to be the kind of person where you are watching yourself actively. People don't watch themselves. They are just doing life. So if you're
it's just vibes.
No, you're just existing. Vibes, you know? And it's like, everybody's on TikTok. You're on TikTok because everybody is on TikTok. You're not asking yourself, or does TikTok even serve me? So you're not even asking yourself certain questions. Now, how are you going to impart life in Ziana? This is what you do. How we kitelaha udirajana. And then another issue, when you're a parent and you're not actively healing your own traumas, you're going to project certain things more. You understand? So a lot of our children are damaged because of the type of parenting. And trust me, not many parents do it deliberately. They are unconscious. We're all going to have to do some sort of healing from our parents. You know what I'm saying? Even I've had my fair share. There are times in Longkore, and as much as my parents were awesome and they were very available, there are certain things that I've had to look at and say, this was not it. Or I've made certain choices in my life because I saw instead of empower. But at the end of the day, here's another thing. You cannot be the person who's always going to say, no, na mama and give us a sob story. At some point, we stop caring about that. We're like, you're 25 years old.
Yeah.
Catch your wake up.
Figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. So that is life. You know, the support structure, it's easier for you to manage a child and to groom a child, impart knowledge to a child when you have gone on that journey to figure out, who am I? You know, if you ask me, who are you, Agatha? I'm not going to tell you I'm a life coach. I leave that to you. I'm freedom, I'm passion, I'm purpose, and I'm legacy. Those are the four things I am. Hey, when all is said and done, freedom, I like to work at my own time and do things at my own time. Micromanaging, ke rata go ira dilo, ke batla go bula gate ke go hema phego. Ke motho ke ntseng yalo. So anything say ke feelang gore it does this to me ke tswa mo go sone. I'm passionate about life. Hela ka ke bua yana, you can feel me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a very passionate person. Everything that I do it wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
I'm a purposeful person. I don't just go around doing anything and everything just because people are doing. What is the purpose of this in my life? Where is this taking me? 20 years from now, I'm very legacy-minded. The things that I'm saying right now, when I'm dead and I'm in the ground looking at my maker, and everything in my life, that's how you can tell who Agatha is. Don't tell me Agatha is a life coach. I can say things, but what am I showing you? We are not what we say, we are what we do.
Yeah, ne?
Breathe.
Yeah. Okay, so you actually partially touched on your journey of self-discovery.
Yes.
Talk to me about the steps now.
Yeah.
How did you go through this to that, to that, to that? Because I think a lot of us miss it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us sometimes we try to take in chunks.
Yeah.
And we're looking at the entire staircase instead of just the first, instead of the next step.
Yeah.
So talk to me about that. How were you able to now discover who you are
Yeah.
so that you are able to show up as this person into the world?
I often say to people, you know, re tshwarela thateng re le batho. Kore re tshwanetse re shake-iwe ke sengwe pele before re kgona go lemoga gore go ha ke tshwanetse re ke ipaakanye.
But it's a problem, eh?
Yeah, it is.
It's a problem.
It is.
It's like we're slow learners.
We are such slow learners as human beings, and all over the world. It's not. Well, I tend to think about but it's human nature. It's human nature, and usually you need an existential crisis. Mudimu in his
infinite
wisdom. So designed us that way. He designed you know how the Bible says you are given grace. Grace is the thing that shows you what you could not see on your own. Which means
unmerited favor.
Which means kana grace batho ba tsela gore ke hela ke favor. Grace e kgona go ta ka go nela so se se busula gore o kgone go itemoga. Because hankabe so se se busula so se ne se sata no ka ske wa hetoga. So you need to go through COVID and lose your money because I care how na le madi a lo ga o lemoge batho. O tsela gore you have money, you have a big car, you have a big house. So let's bring you down to earth so that you can be a human again and be in touch with yourself. This is why we have that whole thing, an existential crisis. You need to go through something first for you to wake up. So you need a ton of bricks to come at you. And then either you start, issue ya divorce mo lape, o swelwa ke motho o mo ratang, gongwe ga o tshole. That is your cue to start. You are not going to start on your own. Oh, it's a fine day to work on myself. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
And this is one of the, I keep telling people, COVID, in as much as it's, however, like I keep saying, that is a worldwide phenomenon. The whole intention is to try and bring people, in the greater scheme of things, it is to try and bring the individual to themselves and their maker. Whatever they decide their maker is, our Allah, our Buddha, our Jeshu. Mehela, consciousness has come for us through that calamity, COVID, the pandemic, so that we can start asking ourselves, nice time the franchise no. You have freedom, you have passion, you have purpose, you have legacy. That's who you are.
Yeah. So okay, how then can we say I'm at this point in my life, and I'm at crossroads, I'm trying to figure out, okay, where am I going here with life? Where is this leading me? And there's not necessarily an existential crisis happening to me. What are the steps I should look into? Because I believe, you know, when somebody is speaking the truth, I don't know if you know this, like it vibrates in your whole body. Like 100%, you can tell. 100%. You know, it's intuitively you can tell that something is true. So how then can we start reading the book within? Because we're reading everything outside. How do we start to read the book within?
You, as a human being, you've got your intuition. You've just said it. I can feel something is not right. Even an existential crisis. It can even come. Here you are, you've got all this money. Don't you ever ask yourself, people with money, why do they commit suicide? It's because that thing is still there in them. What do I do? First of all, I look for the necessary help. People think this journey ki DIY. Guys, you need somebody to hold your hand. That's why you go for therapy. That's why you go and see a life coach. That's why you go and find counsel, seek counsel. You are not going to discover yourself on your own. Let me tell you why. As a certified life coach, the first thing we're taught is to ask the relevant questions. As the person who is experiencing this, being the client, how is it you duck and dive. Through dipotso. Mine is not to tell you how to be or whatever. It is to uproot certain things mo go wena. O ta di iponela. Ha re ntse re tsamaya, ke go botsa, o bo bona, that's when you start putting the dots together. Oh, this is why I'm not succeeding. You know, why does this make you feel like this? It makes me feel like this. Where do you think that comes from? I'm not too sure. Maybe I remember one time when I was young, this is what okay, take us back to that. What happened there? This, that, and then you have a little memory. You know, your parents, your mom was always crying. She's a single parent. Hey, Thomas, how is your money doesn't grow on trees? Then you start having this belief system. Either wa so jiki, you don't even realize, okay, I'm in my 30s, I've actually got a good job. I can actually spend a little bit of money on myself. So you're dating somebody, it's like, because you've got that belief. And this is not splashing money, just doing basic things for another person, because that's how life works, you know? And you are like that. They have their own issues. So you need somebody to uproot this and show you homo behavior. How could on your own? How you understand? Only a few people can do it, but that's why I ended up getting a life coach, and that's how I ended up becoming a coach. So the most important thing is to seek guidance. Bazona think they're going to somehow just sit here, have this conversation, and then, I've discovered myself. Fam, 2016 to 36 less 41. I've been on this journey for what, 7 years? 7 years? And I'm still struggling. I can't win a hair. We when a coach, how you win a therapist. Me now raise the podcast. There are times I have my own coach. I have my own therapist. And I am a coach, and I do this, and I've gone to school for it. It's a never-ending journey. You just become better. You know how the Bible says, God is working through us and on us until that day of perfection when we see Jesus Christ. If you are perfect, you are probably dead. Because nobody's perfect.
Because you're not working, you're not changing anything.
You're not changing anything. You've gone to glory. So for us who are still here on earth, there's a lot to work on. So don't be out here in your marriage thinking you are the best thing since sliced bread as a husband or as a wife. Le tshwanetse re lotlhe le ipatisise. Le tlhaloganye gore le bomang gore le kgone go ruta bana e be le nna le bana ba eleng gore ka moso e tabe le batho ba eleng gore they can help society and not be a problem to society.
But why is it that, especially Kakwano, and let's talk about Botswana. Maybe just as a blanket statement. Cancel. We shy away from getting help.
Yes.
We shy away from why is that mentality so prevalent, Kakwano? And how can we?
Over the years, I think also because of us being a country, it's successful. For me, it's just one simple thing. Bazwana are very egotistical. They have no humility. They think about so in their decision-making process, they think they know everything, but hey, they're messing up badly. Badly.
That's where the danger is.
That's where the danger is. Secondly, they think they know everything when they don't know anything. If you know everything, your personal life would be working. If you knew everything, you wouldn't have 4 kids with 4 different men. If you knew everything, your wife wouldn't be divorcing you right now. If you knew everything, you wouldn't be the person who If you knew everything, right now you'd be leading us and governing us. By the mere fact that you are not leading us is because there's a lot you need to learn. So if we are not going to humble ourselves, you know how the Bible says God shies himself from those who are proud, who are very proudful. He shows himself to the humble. People think I'm arrogant. And I'll boldly say this, I'm one of the most humble people because I know how to look at myself. How did I rubbish here? Hey, I'm a very truthful person. Ibile, I don't care. I'm not afraid to put myself out there because I do not define myself ka nonsense yaka. I know that I'm human. I know that I make mistakes and I'm going to move on. That's not going to define me. But the problem with Batswana is that they define themselves ka their mistakes.
So this is fear.
There's so much fear. Nahatsi, Agatha Atlholang, you are shaking. We put our and it's not even that hectic. I mean, we're having a conversation. We're conditioned to be afraid. When I'm trying to I got pick up their bags about an exchange student to America.
Yeah.
Because they're so used to be given everything. Kibo mama's baby, coddling. And this is where the problem is. It's the ego. It's the no interest to be better. I was in Germany, 21-year-olds are doing amazing things. Bana barona bone they're on Facebook, ba bua rubbish. I mean, I sit down and I think, okay, if my generation drops dead right now, I don't see a 25-year-old who can lead me. Young people, who's going to lead me? Facebook. Who's going to be your minister? Who's going to who at 21 your grandmothers, our parents were 25 married with children building. We're doing that at in our 30s, in our 40s. It's too late. What have you been doing all this? 40 kina kwa gore simolla traveler with your family la go ja monate. Wena ke go simolla. Right. Madam, where have you been?
Yeah.
Motswana is the only person who's going to be late for their own funeral.
Yes. This is where I want us now to
Yeah.
As a macro goal, as a country, we have the changing, mindset change. Everything starts from the way we think. All our actions are predicated from our thoughts. So my question to you is, how practical is it for us as Botswana to change from where we are and where we need to be? Because definitely, I mean, the warning bells have rang, the signs are on the wall. There's a lot that we need to do to change. Where do we start and how practical can we go about this?
I'm going to be one of those who's very... maybe I must be careful how I phrase this. Mindset change for me is a good idea. It sounds nice. It looks cute. It sounds enticing.
Here we go.
It's a lot of English. But like everything else in our country that is not thought out, I hope I'm wrong about this one. This is the one thing that I hope I'm wrong about. That it's going to be just another slogan. Mobotswana. I'm a life coach. I cannot sell you life coaching before I do the coaching myself. I go through the process myself.
Yeah. Nobody would buy.
Yeah. So if you're going to talk mindset change, we're not the creator of mindset change. I will change Chilowena. Point number 1. Point number 2, you've got to understand the psyche ya Motswana. What is causing this behavior? So when you start with mindset change, you're going to have to start with the wounds. Botswana are not ready to face themselves. So,
What
how and
what fragile, like you were saying?
we are fragile. Thirdly, if you want people to change, o simolola o bata buy-in, o bona buy-in yang ka go supentsha motswana gore wa go benefita yang mo song seo. We are designed like that. I get. If your wife comes to you and says, "Now I want a Benz," what is your first question?
Why?
We battle. You do realize that this is $500,000. You do realize that this car needs service. You do realize that we've got other things to pay. Please make it make sense why you want a Benz when we've got 6 kids. So, why do I need to change? Why do you want us to change?
What are we changing from?
What are we changing from? So, mindset change. That's why that's why we have ikahe mojana. That sounds a lot better, actually. Wa go change a mindset to hing motho a sa itse go tshwantse ra ikage. Kore o bona dilo tsa rona di monate on paper, but the reality tsa motswana mindset change kwa batswana ba kwa. Look at the disparity. Go look. So I will say to you, ikage motswana o bonta gore ke ikagela eng Agatha. Ebe ke re right. As a human being, o na le go mo go teng psyche. Tlhaloganyo ya gago e gabedi. You have a masculine side and a feminine side. If you are not integrated as a human being, you are going to become problematic. This is why we need to have children mo malapeng a nang le motsadi wa monna, motsadi wa mosadi. Gore mosadi a develop the feminine side ya ngwana, monna develop the masculine side. Wautar, I'm taking you somewhere. I'm not just saying dirambana mo linyalane. I'm painting a story here for you. So if this child hands a holayana, because hale monyenyane, the mother nurtures, the mother teaches wana gore o tshwantse ra nne yang. If the mother is a single parent and o bogale and ona le stress sa gore she's there, o godisa ngwana a le nosi, it is going to scar the child, as opposed to if she has a husband and they are building go na le madi sente mo lapeng. Ngwana o to gola sente akere. So ngwana o golang ya na khadimolwa ke motsadi a le one a sa bone affection e ka kwa o hella a dira yang a kere ga ana rragwe o tabatsa ma go bata rragwe mo strateng mo a ba ya go digengeng. Ha le go digengeng yalo ngwana yo ke ena to tanga a go thubela mo lapeng a ba a itsela dikobo ka dikgoka a tsela bana ba gago dikobo ka dikgoka, being a criminal. Do you see how I am marketing the importance ya go ikaga? So do you see how then, if we've got criminals and we don't have people by long gore, they are valuable to society, do you know that this is going to affect the GDP of the country? Then we have poverty. Then you are not going to get jobs. So at the end of the day, it's going to affect you. It is going to affect you. This is a problem you are creating for yourselves.
So whether you try to partake or not, it's still going to affect you.
It's still going to affect. So if we have a country full of fatherless children who are not guided, how is the family going to survive? Because we know that the successful people in the country are the ones with families. Show me a millionaire in this country who's a single guy. Wamizi right? Wamizi. So, how do you think prosperity vision 2036 lights?
Prosperity for
Ya go tswa kae prosperity go sena wellness? Go sena di two-parent home. Go sena society e leng gore na le bo mamane le bo malome gore ba kgone go thusa go aga bana. Go sena bo nkuku. Le bo ntatemogolo.
Ibile, talk to me about that because you were recently in Europe.
Yeah.
Tell us what you saw, your learnings from there that we can apply here.
Gosh, that is just a book I could write. Europeans, they're busy building their families. They're family-oriented. There's none of this feminism nonsense that we're copying from the West. Europeans, Hungarians, those ones just, the Hungarians and the Germans, we had our bags. We had men helping us. We're sold this idea that everybody is racist abroad. I mean, in Europe, Germans are racist, the French are racist, or whatever. If you come when insecurity, people are going to smell it and see it. And there's a way they're going to act towards you. My brother, what am the color of the skin. I'm very confident. I know who I am. I'm very articulate. And I'm going to tell you and put you in your place. Or you know what? We don't play like that here. It's very easy. Cut you down to size. Now I'm not afraid, Ghana. There are situations when somebody is being racist like that or whatever. Why do I have to make it about myself?
And it has nothing to do with you.
It has nothing to do with me. Yeah. So this is why people are narcissistic. People who always feel like people are wounding them and everything. Why do you make it about you? You are the narcissist. Is narcissistic. So people in other countries in Europe, they are building their families. They're loving on their children. They're loving on their husbands. They're loving on their wives because they understand that the economy cannot survive without the home.
The family unit.
Without a family unit. Rona, we are here. We are busy. And I'm sitting here. I'm there for 3 days and I'm like, if any of you catch this, my form 5 program ba ga itsulise bana konte ba go bona mahatse ba boe ka di idea tse di serious. I made a joke the other day ke tsentse mo posting ya ka ke re gore motho ta ba go shinela tsa maka Mercedes Benz mo UK mo di Tesla tse ke di taxi. When I'm over Botswana, you feel you've arrived ka ro tsama ka class nyana. And Botswana ba tshoswa ke duanyana because ga ba ise ba ye mahatseng.
And you're very right, Kayona Khanyo, because I think traveling, like you're saying, feeds your perspective.
Yes.
Your perspective feeds your mindset.
Absolutely.
And because I've also had, actually, there's a time I haven't asked, I think, how many people did I ask? Have you ever traveled outside the country? Have you ever, most people I asked had never traveled outside the country. What we know is just here. It's almost like we have that village child mentality. All you know is the village. So this is all you think life is.
This is why it's difficult for Botswana to be truthful. Because they don't know what's out there. They're living in a little bubble. That's why you can't have a conversation with Botswana about something offended. Because I always say it, Kiri, Botswana will never be able to compete on a global front. They're emotional basket cases. This is our problem. We are so emotional. Both my parents have passed away, fam. This is my life to live.
Yeah.
I gotta make it work. And it's not for some man to come and make it work for me. If a man comes by and God says that this is the man I'm pairing you with to do what you need to do, thank you, Jesus. Today's just not that day, and I gotta figure it out. And I'm doing a sterling job of doing that on my own. I am 100% responsible for my life, accountable for my life. Every decision I make, I know has a consequence. It has nothing to do with the next person. If Botswana could catch on to this philosophy, we will be a force in Africa. We are educated. We have systems in place. We can't make anything work. We are struggling to recover from COVID. Wherever you go, either udira business, waring, hahonamad. COVID thing. The world, Europe has moved on. Go to Paris. Go to Germany. Go to Hungary. Go to the UK. People are moving like COVID never happened. People have moved on. People are taking responsibility for themselves. People are trying to make it work. We're sitting here. Oh, I'm depressed. Oh, gosh. Hi, Babu.
But what was that for you? Were you able to take this mindset? Where did you develop this mindset of 100% accountability?
My parents, my mother and my father, we tell like a lot of young people today would not have survived my parents.
Childline.
You would not have survived my parents. My parents were 100% on the money. No. That's my name, Kolapi. If you make a choice, deal with the repercussions. If you're going to do this and do that and do that, and yes, as a child, it happened. And I got to appreciate my parents. I have always been this girl. Those who grew up with me will tell you, Agatha, people would come to you and say they are not your friend. I've had so many of those growing up because I'm a very honest person. So that's where it came from. And it came from the fact that also I went to private schools. I got a birthday present when I turned 21. Malaysia, get my parents. The average 21-year-old said, their parents, yes, who are doing that, but not every parent is doing that. Even those who have money. I'm not saying that my parents were special. I'm saying it's important to invest more banning. It's important to invest more money. It's important to invest the more masadi. So if you're not going to invest in your children and expect them to be these high achievers, at 21, I was on a flight, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, Messi Thebe.
Only one.
Kile one. My sister at 23, 24, got on a plane, packed her bags because Botswana was too slow for her, went to the UK, an exchange student, had Almo, one of those programs, at Disney. She came back, she was like, I can't. Went back. She lives in America. My brother is in Australia. He's married there. My siblings are doing well. It's too slow. We are like almost 200 years behind.
It's painful because then we're losing all the talented people. We're losing all those.
Everybody who's really smart is not here with us.
Because also I've been told many times, no, my man, maybe you should go to SA. Maybe you should go there. Maybe you should go there. And this is fellow Botswana. And I think it's already that means we're looking at...
You know, when I look at the youth of Botswana, sometimes I just stay in my bed and I cry. I do cry. People think I don't cry. I get relationship. Ujur ke letswa keng? Gore ke itse gore tswang teng. And ke bona ha re leng teng. And ke ipotsa gore ko pele kwa a re ta kgona. Gore bana ba ke ba gamang. Kana Botswana o ithala o kare it's a country ka re ga ena motsadi. It's like ga rena batsadi. It's like a child who's just lost the ma. Ga itse gore wa kae wa reng. And I sit down and this brings tears to my eyes and I sit down and I say, God, if I am to trend, because I've said the truth, make me trend 1,000,000 times. If I'm ha motswana a tshwanetse gore a nthogele go thele batsadi because ke mmolelela nnete, Lord, always give me the courage to do it. I will do it over and over and over until you get it. And I will not stop until you get it. I will only stop when I'm in my grave. Because
it's a mission from above.
This is my divine purpose. It's a calling for me. That's why I do it so effortlessly and so elegantly, with so much pizzazz and style. No one can do it like Agatha Atlholang. I'm the only one who does it this way. And when I talk, those who have ears, they listen. And they change. The number of people who stopped me on the streets, I was watching you. I was listening to you. Sometimes I have to contain myself when a child is sharing a story. I was watching a girl child. I was listening to you. And I've stopped doing that. If there was ever a feminist in this country, it's Agatha Atlholang. I just don't roll like that. I don't use that word because it has lost seriti.
What is the problem with that? Because also when you study the history of feminism, it's almost like we threw out the baby with the bathwater.
Absolutely. What happened with feminism was that people started to define themselves with their bodies instead of their minds. We're talking about we wear what we want. Who cares about that? Can we talk about families? Can we talk about us seeing why is it that we are with men who do not take care of us?
Yeah.
Why are we giving men children, men who are not quick to give us marriage? That's feminism. Why are we allowing ourselves to be baby mamas when we've got so much power? Why are we allowing people to just walk all over us, use us like we're tools? And this thing disturbs me because I sit here as Agatha Atlholang. This is why a random man thinks he can whistle and say exe. Because and then now Agatha Hana maitseo. Because a whole lot of other women are allowing this. This is why I speak to women, not on my watch. Not on Agatha Atlholang's watch. Because I have a responsibility to the surname, Yakohai, Atlholang. My parents, there's a way that I have to conduct myself because of Siriti Sabat Adibani. And you, as a woman, as another woman, you are not going to kill that for me. Through your behavior that makes men think they can talk to me any way they want. We're not playing that game. This is where my power is. And this is where any woman's power is. So if women are going to sit here and act like they are tools to be used, like Hasabato, like they can just sleep with any man any day different. This blows my mind how you think this is okay as a female. And don't lie to me because this thing kills your soul. You cannot be the man or the woman who sleeps with multiple partners and be a person wabulingo siameng sento ka buang sengwe se se bothale. O bua eng wena o sa kgone go itebella sente wena gore o motho ga o tsompelo. O nthuta eng wena? O ruta bana eng? O ruta tšhaba eng? No, man. Get back to yourself.
And we also have the problem, the guy child also.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have that problem because as women, women always say they get blamed for everything. Sorry, honey. You are the nurturer. Deal with it. And this is not to say that men are not part of this equation. Men are supposed to be teaching young girls and young boys how to survive in society. Sorry, papi, deal with it. That's your role. You don't even know your role. So if you didn't grow up with a father, that's not an excuse. You've got all this internet and you've got a high-earning job. Go get a life coach, man. I can't my dear internet. Googla how to discover myself. Let's not play on these internets ka phone. Really busy, really bile phone. Can we find constructive things? Let's stop wasting time watching Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj has achieved her goals, however, good for her. You are here in Botswana with a reality that is poverty knocking at your door. You got no time to be wasting on trivial things, mundane things, things that don't matter. You don't have that time. Time waits for no man. Opportunities come, they go. Where are you? You are going to be the guy, the washed up guy 20 years from now. Oh yeah, Kana, when I was in my 20s. Nigga, we don't want to hear that. You are a husband and you didn't seize any opportunities. Like what results. O re bolela ka mogogoromente is unfair ka teng o lebala gore no nna o ja ditendera ko gogoromente o irileng ka madi ao.
And that's a conversation for another day. The way we just think everything is the government.
We've got to wake up.
It's a problem.
Mpo, we've got to wake up. Yeah. And if you do not get onto this bus now, this is the time now. This is your time. It's not coming again. And if you do not mobilize now.
Thank you guys for watching this episode. We really hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. Deep Dive is dedicated to bringing you the most comprehensive and engaging information about business, personal finance, and personal development. Make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated with all our latest content. If you like this video, give it a like to show your support and help us reach a wider audience. And don't forget to share this video with your friends and your family who may be interested. Sharing helps us grow our community and connect with like-minded individuals. Leave a comment below and give us your biggest takeaway on this episode. If you're interested in being a part of our live studio audiences, make sure to register for the next show. Can't make it to the show? No problem. Check out our Patreon page to watch the full episode and get exclusive access to more great content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of The Deep Dive.